Nice to see you again, Liam. Let's start with the Tony Watt red card. It's been overturned. Common sense has prevailed. What's your reaction?
We're pleased that common sense has prevailed. We've obviously the decision's been overturned. We're obviously still slightly frustrated at the process and how it came about. We obviously can't get the second half back with 10 players, so that's disappointing for our point of view. But listen, I was an advocate of VAR before it came in. I knew there was going to be teething problems. This is a teething problem, but we have to use it better.
Yeah, is this something that you hope the authorities take on board then, as part of the learning process, like you say, because you pointed out quite correctly that you've seen a lot of angles that VAR didn't have.
Yeah, well, I think from my point of view, if you've got loads of angles to look at, then you've got to look at them. Now, if that takes slightly longer, then so be it, but you have to get to the correct decision.
So you'd be quite happy with that, take a minute or two longer, and then, maybe if this had happened, Tony would have stayed on the back.
Well, absolutely. I think if you've got access to different angles and different, then you've got to use that, because that gets you to what should be the correct decision. Like I say, I personally can only speak for me. I would rather they spent a wee bit longer making sure they made the right decision and looked at all the angles and all the footage.
For sure. Excellent wins against Aberdeen and Hibs, then a draw, and 3 defeats. You'll obviously be keen to ensure that those 2 victories weren't a so-called false dawn.
Absolutely. Listen, we're obviously at the back of 2 defeats, the cup game and the 2 league games. Not very much in the games at all. So we know we've got a difficult task at Parkhead this week. Celtic are a top side, some top players, top manager. But we're going there. We're going to get on the front foot and we're going to be aggressive. And it's 11v11 at the end of the day, and we'll take the game to them.
Despite the recent results for this side, underlying trends, if you like, that certainly grounds for optimism.
Well, I think so. I feel that way. I think the players are still. I think the second half performance on Saturday tells me that. Couldn't give any more. Some real bravery in possession. And listen, that's all I can ask. I need to keep pushing them and need to keep being positive. We know where we are. We know what we've got to do, and we know where we've got to get to. So that's clear. Players are fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of that. The club's fully aware of that. And we've got a big week before we break for the World Cup.
Of course. The mere mention of the word Celtic, I'm sure, will bring some Dundee United fans out in a bit of a cold sweat. But how do you face up to this weekend?
Well, we're going down there. It's 11v11. Hopefully, if we keep everybody on the pitch, and we're going to get on the front foot. Listen, I understand. I'm not one for looking back. That previous result and game is gone and has been. So we'll go there and we'll make the very best of it. We know it's a tough challenge, but like I say, it's 11v11 at the end of the day, and we'll get on there and we'll get on the front foot.
It'll be easy enough then to put that 9-0 out of your minds. Don't dwell on it at all. Just
to be honest with you, we've never mentioned it this week.
Yeah.
The players never mentioned it. I'm not going to mention it. I'm not looking back. I'm just looking forward.
Yeah, just another game then.
Just another game, another 3 points.
No chance then that Celtic will be weary when they've, after their European exploits.
Listen, I can't speak for Celtic. All I can say is that I actually thought they performed reasonably well last night, and I think they've performed well in the Champions League. They've got some very good players. They've got that big a squad that they can change as many as they want, and the quality isn't going to drop off. So, listen, that's for Celtic to worry about. I'm all concentrating on making sure that we start the game in a positive manner and we do our very, very best to take something from the game. Yeah,
despite the fact it was a heavy defeat, you don't feel that'll have any negative impact on Celtic or give you any advantage?
No, not at all.
And team news, how's everybody?
Everybody's okay. We're still missing Charlie, but he's getting better. He's improving, but everybody else is fit and available.
So. How big a miss has he been given recent results?
Listen, whenever you have a player of that stature and that quality missing, it's going to impact the group. What I will say is, we've missed his leadership, we've missed his communication skills, we've missed his experience. At certain moments in the game, I feel like we've really missed them, those attributes that he's got. But I have to give credit to the guys that have come in and played at the back. They've done a very good job, and that's what it's about. It's competition for places. So listen, we're looking forward to having Charlie back, and until that point, we've still got some good players to pick from.
How close is he to actually setting foot back on the pitch again?
Yeah, listen, he's back on the pitch. He's doing bits and pieces. Will we get him back before the break? I'm not sure.
Okay, thanks then.
Cheers.
you've got Tony back in the team, you'll be delighted by that, but how important of a player has he become to you guys?
Listen, Tony's a number of players that we've got that we expect a lot from. He's got good experience, he's played at a high level. It's good that we've got him available, and it'll be up to me to make sure we pick the right team. It might be in that team, it might not be in the team. So listen, we've got a number of players that we can go to at the top end of the pitch. So yeah.
And your position in the table just now is far from ideal. Where do you go from here to start climbing?
Well, we need to try and take some points from the next 3 fixtures. If we do that, well, like I say, it's perfectly clear where we are, where we need to get to and what we need to do. The players are fully aware of that, the staff are fully aware of that, and the club's fully aware of that. So I understand there's probably a frustration from the supporters. I get that, I understand that, we accept that. And like I said previously, all I can assure them is that we're working every hour of every day to make sure that we start to get points on the board.
Thank you very much.
I was just going to ask a question just about, Celtic. They had that 5-1 defeat to Real Madrid in the Champions League. Just how much do you think that could affect them in this game going in?
To be honest with you, I don't think it'll affect them very much. I actually thought, like I said, when I watched the game, they had really, really good spells and really good moments in the game. And going back to what I said previously, because they've got such a depth of squad, they can change 5, 6, 7 players and there's not going to be any drop-off. So we're fully aware of how difficult a challenge it's going to be, but it's one that we're looking forward to. These are the types of games and the venues that players and staff want to be involved in. So